Hey there, guys. Here I am on this beautiful day in the heart of God's country, America, at a very special place in my heart, the foothills of the Rocky Mountain National Park. It's one of the most beautiful places on this planet as far as I'm concerned. But the reason I'm doing this video this morning to kind of update all my buddies out there, my Vietnam brothers, on where I am on my video channel. By the way, if you don't know me, my name is Bob Crane. People call me Bobby's, and the name of my channel is Bobby's Bucket. Anyhow, getting back to the business, I wanted to update everybody because it's been a good couple of months or so since I produced a video related, generally speaking, to my Vietnam experiences, impressions, and emotions, and all that. You watch my videos, you'll understand what I'm telling you. But anyhow, I wanted to first tell you, it seems that it comes a while in your life, maybe more than once or twice, where I got very frustrated the way things are going on in this country. I know we have a long history, and one of the most beautiful things about our country, our Constitution, is we were very resilient, and we adapt to change, and we work hard. Sometimes it's brutal and takes a long time, but eventually we get things pretty much right. You know, good case in being is starting a Constitution and a declaration saying all men are created equal, when clearly the founders didn't truly believe that, because we had slaves and we owned other people. But because our country is so resilient and so strong, and the principles upon which it was founded, we finally reconciled that, first freeing the slaves with the Civil War. And hundreds of thousands of Americans gave their lives in attempting to do that and preserve the Union under Lincoln's direction. It was a good thing. And then we ran into problems because Jim Crow creeped in, and the blacks, they may have been freed from bondage, but they were not free to function in society as a free people. I know that. So therefore, in the 60s, I lived through it. And most of you Vietnam veterans, I know you lived through it too. The days of Martin Luther King, the great black leader who came and freed the people of those terrible laws, the Jim Crow laws. I go back to the days of John and Bobby Kennedy and how they fought for equality. So the point I'm making is, just in that particular area alone, we have made incredible progress in our country. But that as is may in history, there's still people that they just don't like us. They don't like other people being free or something. I'm not sure what it is in their crawl, but anyhow, so that kind of thinking and the negative thinking about this country bothers me tremendously. It hurts me, really. And it hurts me because I know many men, when I was 20 years old, that believed the way I do, and very patriotic, and believe America's not perfect, but if we keep working at it, we will always improve, and things will get better for all of our people, no matter your color or your race or creed, okay? And many of them gave their life. And so when I hear people negative about America and everything, I get upset, because to me it's kind of like, well, wait a minute. You can oppose positions or have arguments differing from others, but don't take that argument to the point that you turn it into hatred for this beautiful, beautiful country. And it's good people in this country. So I wanted to get that out today. And the relevance to this is this. every once in a while I find in my life, I need to go and get a new shot of why I love this country, why I risked my life when I was 20 years old, 21 years old for this country. I truly did. I didn't know what I was getting into when I decided to become an Army helicopter pilot and go to Vietnam. I was so thrilled and pride, had tremendous pride on the wings I got, you know, being a young man. Your ego's big, and you feel like a stud when you put on those wings, just like the guys do when they become a ranger or a paratrooper. You guys know what I mean. You became proud in what you're doing. And so therefore, when you were given the missions to go and do the things we had to do to fight that war, we did it. We did it with pride too. And we did it with patriotism. A lot of patriotism. Just about everybody I knew was very patriotic. I don't mean gung-ho. I just mean in their heart. They felt love for this country. And that felt that what they were doing was important. And they were willing to sacrifice whatever they had to sacrifice and give whatever they had to give, including maybe the final check, their life. And I knew many that did that. And I think of them still today. Well, it is in sort of their honor, I continue to try to say, well, you know, Bobby, when you get to the point that this politics is getting rotten, do something to remind yourself of why you got to not lose the faith in this country, this beautiful country called America. So what do? I say the best thing is go out there and travel the country and see the people. And more importantly, go to a national park, one of our treasures. So today, in the last few days, I've been in a place that's called Estes Park, which is really neat town. You need to look at it sometime when you're traveling. Maybe you want to go up. It's in Colorado, and it's, I don't know, northwest of Denver. It's called Estes Park. But Estes Park is within a few miles of the entrance, one of the main entrances to the Rocky Mountain National Park. It's a beautiful place, and I'm staying in a beautiful place. But by coming here, it's like I get an injection. I get an injection of what America is all about. Because when you go into the park and you drive and you see the wonders that God gifted this country, naturally you realize this is what I am fighting for. I'm fighting for this beauty in this country to protect it. And I'm fighting for the love of those who gave all for this country. And I'm fighting for the people to be able to enjoy the fullest in their hearts, the beauty of this country. And that pops me up again. I get uplifted, I get positive, I get emotionally positive when I experience that. Like I said, it's like a great shot in the arm, you know. Very interesting feeling, you know. And that, in fact, from here, I'm going to go on north to South Dakota. One of the places I've always wanted to see is those famous presidents on Mount Rushmore. So it'll be I've seen the pictures many times. I saw the 4th of July celebration and all that, but I've never been there. So I'm going to go and do that next. Now, with regard to Bobby's Bucket, here's what's happening. In a few weeks, I will be introducing my new series of videos in Bobby's Buckets. And the title of that series is Boys of the 68. And I'm referring to those young men I flew with, I served with, the crew chiefs and the gunners and the pilots and the maintenance crews, all of them. We served together for 1 year in Vietnam, in Bien Hoa, Vietnam. And we were with the 68th Assault Helicopter Company out of Bien Hoa. And I have decided in Bobby's Bucket, you know, the beginning was talking to Manny, my grandson. he had so many questions about my experiences. And that's what got it all started, you know, trying to answer his questions. Now, I need to talk to these guys that served. So many of them, very humble men. They've gone on with their lives. They married, they have children now, they have grandchildren. Some of them even have great-grandchildren. But they don't frequently tell their stories. And I think their stories need to be told. Their stories about their lives and their experiences in combat in Vietnam, and then what happened to them afterwards. Where did they go? How did they deal with life after that controversial war? So I'm doing this series, which I interview many of the men that were in my unit. I still think of them as I thought of myself, as boys, because we really were. We were 19, 20, 21. Hell, we had gunners, I think, only 18 years old. So we were boys, and that's why I call it the boys of the 68. The first film I'll do, the video I'll do, will be unusual in that most of the Vietnam videos you see, a lot of war stories and combat excitement and adventures and true stories of bravery and courage and all that. Well, I decided this, and we have those, and I will be producing and showing you videos like that. Great war stories, if you will. The war story can be great, but you know what I mean. Exciting, and an example of the bravery and courage. But I'm going to start with one that's different. I wanted to first open my series talking with one of the guys that served us a company and his country so selflessly, and his name is Larry, and he was out in the background. He's one of those people that seldom get recognized. You know, I think only about 20% of the soldiers there actually on the front line in combat. Maybe I may be wrong in my statistic, but I know it's a very small percentage actually were in the field in combat, getting shot at every day, like I did, and my fellow pilots and gunners and air crews. Okay, Larry, he stood in the background and he managed our maintenance group. I don't know how many men, will let Larry tell us, but a lot of men. And their job every day when we came in was to patch the holes in the helicopters, inspect all the operational equipment, and make sure those things were ready to go the next morning at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. A tremendous amount of responsibility, And I remember he did an outstanding job. But it was not a job that many people would go and say, hey, thank you, Larry, good day, have a good day. They didn't do that. He just worked hard, and his men worked hard, pretty much in the background without any recognition. So wait till you see the video. You're going to enjoy it. Larry has a great personality, and he wrote a book, and I'll introduce his book, and it's a great story. So that would be the first one in the Boys of the 68. Beyond that, I plan to interview some people in my unit I'm very proud to know are great, not only were great soldiers and aviators, but are great people of great character, strong character, who very much believe in this country. So, anyhow, I'll end this video by showing you a few pictures of what I've seen in the last few days in this beautiful place. Is beyond, it brings you, gets you misty-eyed if not careful sometimes of what you see with the wildlife and the beauty and the majestic of mountains. You know, coming down off the Rockies yesterday, right at sunset, because we went all the way across the top down to the other side, across the Great Divide and back. Anyhow, and at the very top where they had a visitor center, I think it's like 11,700 and some odd feet high. There's a trail up there that I, 16 years ago, was physically capable of going on, I don't know, it's about 6 or 7 miles long, and you start at 11.7 something, you peak through about 12 and crest, and then you start down, and you go from tundra, and you go into where the pines, the dense forest is, and that's called the Great Divide. The Great Divide meaning where the rivers change. On one side of the Great Divide, all the rivers flow west, and on the other side, they flow east. And one of them that's flowing east is right behind me. That's the noise you hear. That noise is the Big Thompson River coming in out of the Rockies. I have fished that river in its headwaters at about 11,000 feet, and now I'm about 8,000 feet, 8,000 feet, and going to fish it today for some trout. I like to do that. But anyhow, coming back like yesterday, and it was like by coincidence, my wife Marie and I were cresting the Great Divide, 11,700 feet, and it was right at sunset, and I said, wait a minute, I gotta stop my car and look back. And what I saw was the gift from God, the beauty, beautiful. And I took a couple of pictures, and I'll post them at the end of this video, because I turned to my wife and I said, oh, now I know why in that song, I think America is beautiful, they say the Purple Mountains Majesty, because as I turned to take the picture of the sunset, sure enough, the silhouette of the Rocky Mountain crest and peaks was purple in color. And I said, that's where that comes from. My God. It was very emotional to see that beauty firsthand, and it did a lot to warm my heart and get me full of joy for this wonderful country again, and to say, let people be what we want to be, because in the end, just like it hasn't happened throughout history in this country, we will reconcile this stuff, and we will get back to the business of the American Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. Hey there, guys, it's me again. I went out fishing, trout fishing, caught 3 trout. Not bad, but not great either. But anyhow, I'm learning. Anyhow, I got to editing the video I cut this morning. Guess what? My phone must have gotten hot, so it shut down and didn't get the last few seconds. So I wanted to let you know. That's why I had to abruptly hit. So here, I got back from the mountains, back in Estes Park. I don't know, it's about 7 o'clock right now. I'm standing next to the Big Thompson. You see that behind me. And anyhow, just wanted to let you know that what follows is some of pictures and short videos I've taken in the last few days. And one in particular I want you to see is I told you about earlier, I took about sunset yesterday, up around 11,700 feet. The one I mentioned, the Purple Mountains Majesty. I saw it for the first time in my life. So anyhow, and so enjoy the rest of the video. It's a lot of shots about this trip. And remember, to come back, I'll post the new videos I'm doing in the series, the Boys of the 68, the top Tigers and Mustangs of the 68th Assault Helicopter Company. You're going to meet some very interesting guys that I grew to know and love, my brothers from another mother. Okay? So we'll see you again soon. In the meantime, this is Top Tiger 39er, also known as Smokey, out.